In a village nestled at the foot of the great Baobab, there was a young girl named Zuri. Zuri was known for her boldness and curiosity. While other children were content with playing games or helping their parents with daily tasks, Zuri's heart yearned for adventure and answers. She often sat by the baobab, gazing up at its mighty trunk and twisting branches, wondering if the stories of its power were true. "Grandmother," she once asked, "what is the song of the baobab?" Grandmother, whose hair was as white as the desert sands, smiled and rocked gently on her chair. "Ah, child," she said, "the baobab has been here longer than any of us. They say that once upon a time, the tree could sing a song so powerful that it could make the rain fall or the sun shine brighter. But those days are long gone. Only the oldest elders claim to have heard it in their youth. You must never go near the tree when the sun sets, for it is said that the song of the baobab brings a change in the heart, a change you cannot undo." Zuri's heart too raced with excitement. She could not resist the temptation. "But grandmother," she pressed, "what change does it bring?" Grandmother's eyes twinkled as she looked into the distance. "That is for you to find out, child. But beware. The baobab does not sing its song to just anyone. Only those who are truly ready for what it offers will hear its call." That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Zuri slipped quietly out of the hut. The air was warm, and the scent of the earth was rich with the promise of rain. She made her way to the baobab tree, her heart pounding with anticipation. The tree loomed before her, its bark rough and ancient, its massive roots curling like the fingers of a sleeping giant. Zuri placed her hands on the trunk and closed her eyes, listening. The wind whispered through the branches, but the song she had hoped for was silent. Hours passed, and the moon climbed high in the sky, bathing the land in a soft, silvery light. Zuri was about to give up when suddenly she heard it. A faint melody, barely a whisper at first, but growing clearer with each passing moment. It was the song of the baobab. The notes were slow, deep, and hauntingly beautiful. It was as though the tree was singing of forgotten times before the world had changed. Zuri's heart swelled with emotion. She had never heard anything so pure. The song pulled at her, urging her to listen more closely. As she stood there, rooted to the spot, she saw something strange. Two glowing figures appeared before her, shimmering in the moonlight. They were figures of light, their faces hidden in shadow. They moved closer, and Zuri felt her breath catch in her throat. "Who are you?" she whispered. "We are the guardians of the baobab." One of the figures spoke in a voice that sounded like the wind rustling through the leaves. "You, child, are the first in many moons to hear the song. You are brave, and your heart is pure." Zuri was too stunned to speak. The figure continued. "The song of the baobab carries the wisdom of the land. It speaks of what was, what is, and what may come to pass. It is not a gift that can be given lightly. Are you ready to receive its truth?" Zuri thought about the many questions that had haunted her for years. Why the rains did not fall as they once had. Why the animals seemed to wander farther each season. And why the village elders spoke so cryptically about change. Was she ready to learn the truth? To face the answers, no matter how hard they might be? "I am ready," Zuri said, with a steady voice. The glowing figures nodded, and one of them stepped forward, raising its hand. "Then listen closely, Zuri, for the baobab song will reveal your fate, and the fate of this land." Suddenly, The air around them thickened, and the song grew louder. It filled Zuri's ears, her mind, her very soul. She saw visions. Rivers drying up, animals fleeing, crops wilting. And then she saw the villagers, old and young, working together to restore the land. The elders gathered under the Baobab, sharing stories of the past, while the youth listened, ready to take action. Zuri saw herself, not as a child, but as a leader, guiding her people toward a brighter future. When the song finally stopped, Zuri was left breathless, her eyes wide with understanding. The guardians looked at her kindly. You have heard the Baobab's song, Zuri. Now, you must carry its message to your people. The land is changing, but it is not too late. You must help them understand the balance. The way forward is through unity, respect for nature, and wisdom passed down through the ages. With that, the guardians began to fade, their light dissolving into the night. Zuri stood alone beneath the baobab tree, her heart heavy with the knowledge she had gained. The song of the baobab had spoken of a time of struggle, but also of hope. A time when the land could heal if only the people worked together. As dawn broke, Zuri made her way back to the village, her mind made up. The villagers would hear her story. They would listen to the wisdom of the baobab, and they would fight for their land, for their future, and for the generations yet to come. Conclusion. And so, Zuri became the first of many to carry the baobab song. Her people listened, and they changed their ways. They tended to the land, shared their resources, and respected the wisdom of the elders. The rains began to fall once more, and the animals returned to their homes. The song of the baobab had not been a warning, but a call to action. In the end, the village flourished, and the baobab tree stood tall as a symbol of unity and hope. And Zuri, she became the leader she had seen in her vision, a leader who listened to the song of the earth and carried its message to those who needed it most.